week. I watched you on television a couple of days after.
Really?
So I saw you a couple of days after, and
I was online watching you.
nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, he did an excellent job.
Yeah, I was grateful for that. You know.
He passed me up.
And
Everybody got
I got a little bit. Let me show you real quick. You know, today is an exciting day for me because God is here.
Yeah.
And, man, you know, some of y'all know better than I do. But I mean, I got 9 years or so in with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had prophesied and
He got one there.
planned and
Oh, give me
purposed
one more.
for this day to happen. You know what I mean? And then here we are. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Fresh.
Yeah, we are. A lot of us, man. Didn't think you'd be coming.
Oh, I just gave it.
Yeah.
Two.
So let's I want to go over first. Let's just go Fresh and remove your hat soon. We might read it again, but let's just and then Mr. Stroud right here, Jimmy Stroud, he's a guest.
Yes.
This is Dwight's brother-in-law. Yeah, and he's a bad brother on his own. You know, he's done some things, you know, that
Just a little shepherd boy trying to find my way.
we
all are. We all are.
Stop at it. Over that big pretty house, the shepherd boy got it tonight. You know? But it's grateful, man. Good to see you. And appreciate all the work you've done over the years. And we've been at this a long time, but we was really what I've learned about doing work in this church is that if you get loud enough to put that X on your back, it's not long after that, it's all over. It's all over. So we wrote some mess around over here about 16 years, 17 years on them, and we done got somewhere with this thing. Let me share with you just briefly about the trip to Florida. You know, my wife and I all took my whole family. Will's daughter, who's my granddaughter, took her to Florida for her first time. It was her first time on a plane, and so we wanted to get that in. And then Purpose, my 13-year-old, and Samari, my granddaughter, both 13. You know, we were able to get them down on the Bethune-Cookman campus, the college, right. And it's real soulful down there. And even though, look, right down the street is like the crackheads and, you know, whatever, in some kind of way, the college and the dope fiends and others, they seem to have an understanding about boundaries.
Yes.
And my daughter told me this out of her own mouth. Because she was in Dayton, Ohio last year. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful campus, pristine. But the spirit was wrong. Now she's down here, nice campus, much smaller, not as pristine, but somehow the spirit is right. So this is my daughter telling me, she said, Dad, you know, I love that college I went to last year because it was so pretty. She said, but you know what? When we go out to play volleyball, she's a volleyball player. And I'm thinking, my daughter is such good shit, man. That girl looked like an Olympian. You know, she, a little waistline about 26 or 7.
Wow.
And then she all buffed up.
Right.
Yeah, I love that, right? She said, Dad, I get out, they travel. All over, taking the bus all over the place. They're trying to make the NCAA tournament. They start out losing every game, but now they swept the last game. Played Mississippi State, swept them 3 games in a row. Yeah, so here we in the audience, man, you know, doing the wave and making some Minnesota noise. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it was cool too, man. Okay, she said this my daughter's name, Kate.
I've been listening to Pop. It's so great. They're doing the wave, the wop.
Nobody's too loud in there. Watch this. Watch this. She said, Dad, but you know what? Hey, give Tony a hand. He's so late. Love to have him. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, you're looking good. So this is what she said. She said, when we get to these other campuses, I really like it, and I appreciate them. She said, but I know we got to get back to where the crackheads is at. But she meant that in a real cool way. Like this cultural thing we have going on. On one side of the street is higher education. On the other side of the street, some people have gotten their dreams broken, their vision dashed, and are losing it on the other side. But somehow they got love for each other.
And they stand their balance.
And they stay, and man, the big football playing brothers, the Negro big man. They let them guys. Hey, sir, this is how they talk. Sir, don't come over here. Thank you, sir. And they built it they got a communicate, they got a relationship. It's so beautiful. And so my daughter, I had my mother-in-law with me, and, my sister, everybody, big old car rolled down the highway. 4, Interstate 4 in Florida, got down here to Daytona Beach. Let me just tell you this about Daytona Beach. You've seen them race cars. You look at it and you say, oh, wow. I'm going to tell you something. That building might be about 3 miles long.
The Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Right.
Not no football field. You can put
The racetrack.
You can put several
Right.
of the stadiums. It's just to be up on it. It's a monstrosity of construction.
Right.
It's so big, Will. It looked like it descended from the cloud. It's just a huge thing. Yeah. So I just want to share with you a little bit. On Tuesday, I was feeling something. We've been meeting every Tuesday for 16 years. I was feeling something like on Tuesday, but I know Will had it. And then y'all had a good discussion, and I appreciate y'all. But I got nothing but love for you, brought nothing but love back from Florida. And it's exciting to me to share with you the possibilities that are before us and our children. I'm waiting for all the amens and I die.
Amen.
Yeah, so just my wife, she just gushing because my daughter is becoming a young woman. It's a beautiful thing. So we took her out to eat. Listen at this. Let's start with the acts of faith. I have a lesson tonight, just something on my heart, but I want to get to the deal. And now you gonna be able to do your thing too?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to log in now. I can probably do it on my phone.
That'd be great.
And before my section come in, I can stay in until my section.
Okay, that'd be great. Somebody,
I got it.
go ahead.
Pray for a continuous flow in the now rather than a contingent flow in the need.
Yeah, that's good.
Need represents lack. It says, I am some way deprived, unable to provide for myself. Need feels desperate, and often I get stuck in that desperation. I don't always realize that God provides for my needs without any effort on my part. I need food, clothing, and shelter, of which there is an abundance. The issue is, do I want what is available? Usually not. So I think I need more.
Hey, nice.
I think I need a new coat, a high-end TV, a late model car. I want these things, and that is fine. Want places me in the driver's seat. It says I am open, ready, and willing to receive. Want says I have a dream, a goal, or an idea I desire to manifest into my life. Need makes me fearful. Want helps me to become creative and responsible. When I strive only to meet my needs, I am never satisfied. When I strive to satisfy my wants, I become a lie. All that I need comes to me easily. I want the best. The reflection. When you changed an I need into an I desire, what showed up in your life?
Boy, that was good. We got some latecomers. Tony the Tiger just walked in the door. Give Tony the Tiger. That's Chris Bird. Yes. Sit down, boys. You make me nervous. Hey, look here. Somebody take that. Will, what you got? You gonna process? Go ahead, Cal.
You know, just like a couple of days ago, I was going through some stuff and I started thinking, okay, I wanted this car my brother had. Did I need it? No, because I got a car down in Mississippi. But I wanted the car because I feel like he's leaving. And, you know, I lost all my brothers. I got 2 of us left out of 6. And I wanted to do something. I wanted to show him that I want to keep the car. I want to keep it so I can let him know that I'm being responsible. Having stuff now, because one way I wasn't having nothing, going in and out of prison. Now things is coming to me more violently because I changed my whole life. You know, and some things I don't need. But when you get them, you be thinking, do I really need this? No, not really. But I appreciate it because it's showing me I'm being responsible.
Wow. Y'all didn't see that black, dusty black Mercedes out front. This is what he talking about.
Oh,
It's a 500.
yeah.
Look at a little smile on his face. See a little smile on his face.
I don't know how it's happening, but staying around you guys make me just
Okay. Give him some love. Give him some love.
Welcome to the Mercedes family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
And you know, just to your point, I do believe that you're living better. You know, you're loving yourself a little more. Not destroying your neurons.
Right.
Thing. Yeah. The face is clear, man.
I'm doing the right thing. It's hard, but I'm doing it, man. I didn't even believe I could get this far so long. Since 2017, I've been home, man.
How many years was 7?
About 4 or 5.
4 years out of prison.
Man, and it's like I would be going back every 6 months, doing maybe 4 years, 3 years, and come back. But today, I'm blessed to know that all I got to do is be patient.
Yeah. Ooh, listen to him. Listen to him. To that preacher. So anybody got something? You got the actual page back there? I want y'all to catch up to this. Laz, what you got? Anything? Tim, please. What you got? Anything
Relates to just the piece.
well, you say with the piece or you got something else?
Lately, I just been thinking about kind of the conversation we had in the car, just about how the majority. It's sad that when you go to the store, when you're walking anywhere, you see people consumed with that self-hate. And it's really a reflection of where I was with my self-hate.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be able to transmute that energy though when it comes my way. Quite recently when I was at a bus stop, a little guy was like, "What you looking at?" You know what I'm saying? Wow. And whether he was talking to me or not, at first I thought he was talking to me. Wow. And there was a time where any energy from that direction would have caused me to react would have met that aggression with the same aggression. Like would have I'd have banged on me. But I quite naturally, you know, I found myself grabbing him like, and I looked him in the eye and I'm like, "Look out, brother, that ain't for me." Which shocked me because I went into it so fast where it was like, it wasn't something that I consciously thought. It was like an impulsive reaction. And then, you know, after the fact, I talked to the brother and this, that, and the other. And I remember all through groups, I was being told about the self-hate, the self-hate, the self-hate, the self-hate, you and your self-hate, you and your self-hate, you and your self-hate.
And now getting outside of my self-hate and seeing what it looked like,
Yes, sir.
man, it feels
Yes,
good
sir.
not to be in that
Yes,
self-hate.
sir. Give him some of that there. You was making such good sense right there. And some of y'all was down with Laz. You remember how Laz was? Now, Laz, he would be 1 minute he was here, then the next minute, he would be over here. Then out of nowhere, he would have these profound words of poetry. Okay. And you would think, where in did that Negro get that from?
Laz will come forward.
See what I'm saying? But this is what has happened, Dwight. Laz, you're becoming a young man now, and you're starting to see with your eyes differently, not just looking, but actually seeing. Those are two different things. And now with these eyes, you're able to see the difference between the land of yes and the land of no. I want y'all to think about that for a minute, because every one of us in here, everyone, at one time, we lived in the land of no. Some of us mistakenly, some of us on purpose. Now, to get to the land of yes, your eyes have to be transformed. Something that you're seeing and hearing has to overcome you and transform you. Listen at this. I'm going to tell you something's on me tonight. Listen at this. It's like telecommuting. All of a sudden, in time, you're standing there with so-and-so, oh boy, them, and all of a sudden, when it hits, you're someplace else listening at something altogether different. When you come to yourself, you're not the same guy who just got through uttering that sentence you uttered it before, but you have been transformed. Man, have you ever just went into the bathroom, got a shower, and felt like you were a completely different person when you came out? I mean, not just washed, but rejuvenated. Your mind had been rejuvenated.
And then it can't be true. It can't be trusted until it's tested.
Wow.
So that was just an indicator for myself to understand that there has been some development as it relates to my characteristics. Because at one point in time, I was at that same store. I was at that same what's that place called? Brooklyn Center Transit when I first came to Minnesota. Wow. And I was introducing people with that strap, like, hey, what's up? Wow. They were seeing that 45 come up out my waistline. What's up? So, and it's crazy how, a year 3 years after prison and a year and some change, I'm at this same spot, and rather a hello with the 45 is
so let me stop you right there. Soon you won't need that demonstration. You won't even need that to make the point. Your point was made well enough that demonstration was unnecessary. I'm just trying to help you. And so that you will remain acceptable in the environment that you currently exist in. I'll wait for all the amens. Give my hand right there. Because I heard him last week. Somebody else, you got to roll. Oh man. Somebody else.
Chris, pop out.
Go ahead, Chris.
So one of the more recent things that brought me a desire to need to help or stay in contact is a fellow pop guy that really hasn't been coming. And I just popped up on him and told him exactly what was going on. And now he's back full-time working back on the tow truck.
So everybody know you're talking about Geronimo, just so you know. Okay.
So just staying fluent, and for me, sticking to my needs versus my wants has helped me grow so much. Because prior to 2017, or in the middle of 2017, I was only acting on my wants instead of my needs. When I came out in 2018, I was all about my needs. Needs about myself, more selfish. my wants, my goals, to get my life back on track. That's what I did. I focused now on my paper.
Right.
They're looking at my global reduction stuff. I got a truck. I'm working on my other truck, and I'm full-time back to towing. So I'm just so more blessed and more happy myself.
Give him some love. Give Chris some love. You know, Chris is recently married. There's several recently married men in here. James is here with his presentation, and James, how long do you need?
Well, communications between you and I.
Just how long do you need?
15 minutes.
Okay, good.
Max, probably less than that.
That's good. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna continue discussion first, then we'll transition to the.
I'm good with all that, man. You're in charge.
Okay, well, you know, I just want to be respectful, and we're so grateful. Give Jim a hand. He got some information for us here. Look, I want to. So Wayne, if you don't mind, cut that screen for me. I want the board for a minute. I want y'all to think about something, and this is a message. I need the board. So this is a message for the cut that off right there. As a matter of fact, I might be able to do it without the board. This is a message I want to read. I did this before you've heard it, but because Dwight is home,
Yes.
I don't, you know, Dwight's one of our lifeless sons, and I don't know, I might feel differently because of my role than some of you all do about the life of guys. But I realize, I try to put myself in their situation and ask myself, could I survive this?
Wow.
And not only could I survive it, but could I thrive and become somebody in the midst of it? Okay. I realize in order for all of us to be here, we have had to possess some psychological strengths.
Absolutely. Come on now.
Now we possessed them, but we couldn't necessarily identify them. Look at Donald even sitting there. Donald's so shy. Look at Donald, like he's been floating around the country, horseback riding, you know, yeah, going down south in the bottom. Yeah, you know. I mean, you pop guys is doing things, man. And so, but because Dwight is home tonight, it's a special night for me, and certainly for him, but for me because we tarry together over a few things, you know, and I kept saying to him, I said, "No, man, you coming? You coming?" And you know, God was releasing me, to talk like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because otherwise, you have to resist. Well, the audacity to think that I could prophesy you coming home.
Thank you, Jesus.
But here you are sitting, like we said, here you are sitting.
Prophet Pop.
So I won't, go ahead.
Dougie Fresh, pop by.
Hey, Pop John.
White, wonderful to see you.
Oh, yes,
Wonderful
sir.
to see you from Lino.
Yeah, you finally got
I
it.
just want to share this with everybody. It was one of my first handful of groups that I had been to at Lino.
Yeah.
And Mr. Blowers made a presentation about rolling the dice.
Wow.
And that's one of the most impactful presentations I've ever heard. And it's still sticking with me. And I asked about you not too long ago. I asked Pops, and he said you were coming home. So it is so good to see you, man.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you remember that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it.
And,
So, I mean, it's great to see you, sir. And, you know.
Yeah, likewise.
So look, Michelle is blessing us in here. This is, you remember Jeffrey Young? Life for Jeffrey Young?
Yes.
This is her boy.
What?
This is
That's
Michelle Fernandez. This is Jeffrey's mother.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and Linnell Martin, this is his auntie. They first
Oh, my
cousins.
God. Ain't that the best? Family.
The
Your
wife-
family, but like, yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
I like it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I want
Well,
to say,
so glad.
Go ahead, son. Go ahead.
you know, this is for Dwight.
Okay.
My very first pop meeting in Lionel Lakes. Dwight, Mr. Bowers,
What Mr. Brown do?
he was a student teacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was his turn up when I came there. That's my first day.
Right.
It was his turn.
Yes, sir.
You know, the student teachers had
Right.
Mr. Bowers was up there.
Right.
And I ain't never forget this. Mr. Bowers said two things to me
What do you say?
that drew my attention and made me want to be a pop guy. Okay. He said that Michelle, the reason why you in this system because you didn't create a system for yourself. I looked at this, I looked at him, I said, who do you think he talking to?
Chief.
And then he said, let me tell you, man, and he stood up. I ain't gonna never forget this. He stood up.
Right.
He said, man,
Yeah.
it's time to come up out this monkey suit.
Yeah.
And he shifted down and he stepped up out of it.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. You put something on your
He
mind.
put something on me.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was focused
Right.
on what I need.
Right.
And I knew that I need powerful people.
This is so powerful. What I want to say to you, see how we was in
Yes.
see how that was moving.
Yes.
It was so powerful. Just such a beautiful thing. Pop guys in every prison was the leadership of the prison. I could stay there longer, but I'm gonna push this in, and then later we'll have discussion, and later we're gonna get to Jim's important presentation. But these in front of you are the 7 psychological strengths that all pop guys need to get and stay in the good life. Somebody said the good life.
Good life.
How many strengths are there?
7.
Now you already know these, but you've already used them. That's part of the reason why you're here. But we haven't synopsisized it or reduced them down to 7 things that you can use as guideposts as you continue to work toward or stay into the good life. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so watch this. And here goes Josh. Josh got him a job. Look, Josh is driving a truck now. Give Josh a hand. Boy, are you on time? Yes or no? Are you on time for the job? Yes or no? Okay, thank you. Okay. He was gonna give me a story. You heard that? Watch this. The first one is, listen to this. It's improvisation. Somebody say improvisation.
Improvisation.
Right. I'm gonna run through them quick, and then I want you to respond back. Think about it. Improvisation. What I mean is, how can you make something out of nothing? How can you mess around and get locked up the way we have? And have all your dignity, all your rights, and everything, so such and much, everything stripped from you, and be locked up like that. Look at me when I'm talking to you, Chris. And be locked up like that, and still improvise inside of the belly. I have come to the penitentiary top tier to the bottom tier. Okay. And they calling out numbers, and people are, shoot, so, oh man, I can tell you, I've been hit. Just figuring out ways to be inside of that beast. How can I be me? How can I become myself with all these conditions? The psychological strength is improvising, creating something out of nothing. Tim was doing that. I'm coming to you. Tim was doing that. Tim kept thinking, they was beat down on him, and he didn't have a platform that he could stand on so he could fight back in his way of fighting. Each one of our ways is different. Right. But when Tim became a pop guy, I could see that he was getting his little deuce up. Okay. Saying, wait a minute, I can get out of here. You get what I'm saying? Look. Give him a seat. He's a celebrity.
I heard you got married.
Celebrity. Yeah. The lifers are showing up tonight. Oh, Lolita's here. Give Lolita here. Here come Ross Landro. You slide back to the back because we're gonna need more room. Slide back. I'm not gonna make it to the board. Hey, Ross. You got here just in time. Jim, you have to slide back too, and then you'll get back to your spot in a minute. Back there. You don't want to this. I need that. No, hold this. Hold this. You got it. Bring it over here. Sit down. You're around me. Come on. We'll bring it back together here. I don't want to lose focus here. We're trying to go somewhere tonight. Son, whatever that is you're doing, hurry and do it. Yeah, watch this. Son, you have to move down. Slide your chair down. Slide it on down. Slide it on down. Tim, move faster than that. Son, slide down. You understand what slide down? Here. Slide back to the board. Yep, all the way back. There you go. There we go. Come on in here somewhere. I want you in. Tonight I want everybody in here where I can feel you. Slide back to the board, Tim. Can you hear me? Yeah. Watch this chord, Will. I love it. All right, watch this. Hold up, Pop, give one more second. Watch the chord, son. Right here. Wherever I fit. Yeah, I love it. Hey, feel all right. Look, it's getting kind of good in here. Watch this. Somebody say pop guy. Pop guy. Yeah, I love it. I love it when the plan come together. And look at the white Bible. Look, he's sitting up there. We've been telling you what we doing up in here. Yeah, now you know. Watch this. This improvisation. Improv is to create. Impromptu. Come up with something. Tony's good at it. Look, Tony got more jobs than all of us put together. He keep happy, playing, driving Mercedes, doing what he's doing. He's improvising. Right. We feel that's a strength. And I'm pursuing a trade, by the way. See, that's a strength he has. I don't know now. I've been my own working there for a long time. I'm not sure how I would feel going to ask anybody to give me a job. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody say resiliency. Resiliency. Mm-hmm. See, what we didn't realize we were in these situations is that we had to dig into. Josh, I want you to sit down now. Yes, sir. You had to dig into your soulish nature last for your resiliency. This is your gifting. You were gifted with resiliency. Right? Into each life, a little rain must fall. That applies to everybody. Right? The resiliency is there, but you have to tap into it. If you keep giving up on yourself, it's because you haven't tapped deep enough into the well of resiliency. Say resiliency. Resiliency. You didn't say it loud enough. Resiliency. Let me show you something else about it. Say, come back and sit back. Come back. Sit back. Down somebody. Somebody say it again. Come back. Come back. Say it loud. Come back and sit back. Right. Do you know, I've met some people in prison. I'm thinking about this one European boy, he just an example of it. He had mental health issues. Many of us do. But watch this. But he kept letting them tell him he was sick. And he didn't want to be sick, but he believed what they were telling him, except for when he joined the group. He joined the group and got so supercharged, he stopped taking his medication and stopped doing and was managing his life correctly. The prison got shut down and I was gone for about a month or something like this here. I came back and he came down to class, but he was in that shell. You know that kind of blunted affect. I said, man, what's wrong with you? And he said, Pop, I got this psychotic. I said, man, you don't have any of that.
Wow.
And so look, we just had a regular class, but by the time the class was over, he had tapped into his own resiliency, which is healing. I'm teaching better than you saying anything. Like a healing bomb. You got it in you. It's in you. But you have to tap it. Otherwise, you're just being manipulated through something that called life, where everybody else seems to always win and you always on the outside. I'm almost there. Connectedness to others. Say connectedness to others.
Connectedness to others.
That's number 3. This is why pop guys do well. It's a psychological strength. Being here feeds your psychological strength.
I can give you that.
In here, you're getting fed. Man can't live by bread alone, but by the word that cometh out of the mouth. And so we're here where we start melding with each other and we get intimate with each other. We get close to each other, as men and women, and we're cutting our teeth, sharpening our iron, one to another. Come and let us reason together. This is what we're showing you right here. These are 7 psychological strengths that with these things you cannot fail. If you're failing right now, it's because you're not using these things. I'm reading somebody's mail in here.
Switch you up.
Watch this. Watch this. Sometimes I'm gonna go to Chris's point earlier. I was listening at you. Sometimes Chris' psychological strength was only number 3. Look at it on your paper.
Okay.
Look at it on your paper. What is number 3, Lazarus? Say it loud. So Chris, all he wanted to do was be connected to other people. So if Chris wasn't connected, it wasn't nothing going on. I wait for all the amens to die down.
Amen.
Somebody, I'm using Chris as an example. Some of us also had that issue.
Right.
But look. Even when it's good, you can only take it in moderation.
Come on now. Wow.
Too much of anything. Chris, are you hearing me?
Yep.
Well, to his credit, he later on married the lady. Get your chair. Come on, and number 4, somebody read that.
Spirituality.
Say it louder than that.
Spirituality.
Everybody read together, 1, 2, 3.
Spirituality.
Yeah. Look, I don't want you to be frightened by that, because I'm certainly not talking about religion. Watch this. Watch this. Hey, sister. There is a spirit right now that's flowing through this room. Yeah. Penetrates the bars.
Amen. That's what you were talking about earlier with your daughter.
Exactly. Spirituality. It doesn't have to be a particular religion. We accept everything. Whatever you say, you believe, that's good. Believe in something. But you have to realize that man is not just flesh, man or woman, but also spirit.
Come on now.
And that part of us that is spirit allows us to time travel. Listen, lads, when we seem to be locked in one place, Spirit will allow us to time travel out of that place and experience situations from the past. You know why you're quiet? Huh? Or it can transport you to some place in the future where you see yourself doing, being, or becoming something that you are right now, but you never believed you was ever going to be that. Is that right or wrong?
That's right.
Absolutely correct.
I'm gonna just use Will for a minute. I was at Will's Lifer here, and we were in Lino Lakes. And Lino Lakes, all them prisons. I don't know how y'all buff them floors. Them floors be so buffed out, man. You can see your reflection, and then something else too is in there. And there's something about them that is haunting.
Okay.
They're so clean. And then there's a long hallway. We get ready to go down and go into the we're going into the computer room. Huh? Wait a minute, all the lifers is in here, they know it. So it's like the Green Mile. Come on, I
was thinking the Green Mile.
I'm just saying. And look, Will is right here, I'm right here. And you know, Will is fighting for his freedom.
Oh, yeah, I remember that whole scenario.
And I'll tell you all this. I'll tell you this before. It's good to see you. Look right here. Something jumped on me after I told Will, yes, I would be his representative. His victim, what's his name? Broderick. His victim said to me, why do you support Will?
Wow.
And not me? And I was thinking, oh, I didn't expect that. But what I said back to that spirit was, I cannot bring you back, but I can commit that I can help him be a better man. And we went the spirit of, I'm telling you, I'm sitting right here talking to you.
Wow.
Look right here. And then we walking down the hallway, we quiet, and we got a third man. What's that boy's name? The crazy one. You know him. Bill. It was Bill. Yeah, Bill Hefner. That's our boy. Yeah, Bill Hefner's all right in my book.
Yeah.
He did it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would love to have been there. But watch what I'm trying to tell you, though. We go into this room, me and Will is quiet. Hefner's there. Everybody's on one accord. Look at this. The team says to Will, the rolling team. So what are you going to do if you get out and your family members or anybody like that is still doing what they were doing? This is the first question.
Wow. Good question.
This is the first question. Just listen at what I'm saying. Sometimes you get to know you question or, make you feel comfortable question. It was none of that.
Wow.
It went right at him. Bam.
Catch you off guard.
Just what Will said. I'll never forget it. Will said, well, my family already knows what I'm on. They already know that. He said, but if you was good with me, then you still good with me now. But that doesn't mean I do what you do.
Amen. Preach.
Give him a hand for that. I'm telling you this for is this whole notion of spirit was guiding us through this process. It was a spiritual walk down that galley. It was a spiritual thing. Even the dead man was there. I mean, everybody was present. Man, don't fool me tonight. I'm full. I'm telling you. Watch this. Watch this carefully. But spiritually, we had bound ourselves together to complete the task, and we'll have put in the work just like you did, just like you did, just like you did, just like you did. Had put in the work so that we were ready for the can to open up. Then people flicked us off the screen. You know how they do.
Go in the huddle.
They went in their huddle. And after what I jugged Will under the table after when he got his roll out. You know, I said, okay, cool.
Yeah, good.
Hold up. Let me go down.
Yeah, my turn.
But I mean, and we worked that thing, man, you know, because, right? And I could say more about it. But I just want you to understand this is partially because Dwight is home and you see that some of our life of sons have showed up. They've shown up to show you honor, to show you some support because we love you and we want you to know you got a place to come to, but that the 7 psychological strengths that got you home will also keep you here. And we're not just trying to win it temporarily, we're trying to win the whole thing.
Right. All the way.
Watch it. So the number 5, somebody read number 5 real loud. 1, 2, 3. Emotional vitality. It's all right. Emotional vitality. Now watch this. Corey, are you listening at me? Yes. See, look what I'm saying to this. Emotional vitality. Let me unpack. Say emotion.
Emotion.
Say emote.
Emote.
Yeah, that's the root word. It's Latin. Emote means erupt.
Wow.
That's the word where you get volcano and all of them from. You know, but this whole notion of emotion are these eruptions. And so these eruptions, if you don't control them, if you can't manage them, then they will get you off your track. Emoting with subtractors or dividers will take you to a particular path. I'll wait for all the amens. I'm trying to teach good here. Look, good. Man, this is our foundational premise that in life, you're only ever going to meet 4 kinds of people. That was not a hypothesis, it's a fact. And so now you have an opportunity to rediscover that truth in this context, the way you discovered it in the context that you were in.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Now watch this carefully. Emotional vitality. Emote. Emotional intelligence. That's the EQ. Here is the, say it loud.
IQ.
Yeah, the IQ. Well, watch this. If your emotional quotient isn't vital, it will come into conflict with your IQ. Yeah. And watch this, look at me carefully. Many times, this is what took us off track. Even though your good sense was saying, don't mess with that girl. Yeah. Your heart was saying, yeah, but I got to go back one more time. Same with my sisters who say, wait a minute, let old boy go now. Yeah. Hold up. You say that, then your heart, your emote is saying, no, but he can change. I wait for all the amens in this church to die down. You're quiet in here. Amen. You're quiet in here because we're talking about it. Read my mail. Look what I want. I'm gonna show you though. Number 6. Read number 6. 1, 2, 3.
Gallows sense of humor.
Gallows sense of humor. Gallows sense of humor mean like you laugh to keep from crying.
Wow.
We go through so much. We still have to keep a sense of humor that allows us to go through the vicissitudes of life and still be good on the other side. I'm gonna tell you, I'm just show you something. Somebody who's my mathematician, and I not here. I just want to add 24, 31, 38, 37. Hey, 36. Somebody had them.
Lord have mercy.
Wait. Yep. Oh, wait.
Do it again.
36, 37, 38, 24, 31. Somebody add that.
That's like 160.
142. 171.
It's
right around there.
She sounded like on time. So we made it sound right.
You got over there.
What you got, Reason?
166.
You can't. First you went.
I got one. I don't need all of that. But look what I want to say to you. I'm just trying to help you understand something. Look. Look, it don't, the number now, it's come and go. But what I'm trying to get you to understand, just these 5 men, 6 men have done well over, we're closing in on 200 years. Yet, oh, wait, I just gotta, I don't want to go by that too fast. Somebody say 200.
200.
If I put us all together here, we'll be up in the 3s.
Yep.
Well, watch this, what I'm showing you. But yet you are able to improvise. Yet you're able to be resilient. Yet you're still connected to other people. Yet you can still have your spiritual vitality and your emotional vitality in spite of all of those things that we're talking about, in spite of all those conditions and the 450 years that you might have been locked up before you got locked up. And number 7, say number 7. There's a healthy suspicion of you know who. You know who is. And everybody's who ain't the same. But you know who they are. And you have to be suspicious. Wow. Somebody say suspicious.
Suspicious.
Suspicion is healthy. That's Daniel Lee over there. He's been gone from us. Give Daniel You're trying to figure it out all by itself.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be thinking, man, it's so cold out there. It's 85 degrees. It's still cold outside. Go ahead, son.
I'm just asking, with suspicion, it's healthy, but do you mean by practicing discernment, knowing the 4 character types as your self-awareness of who you're surrounding yourself with? Because a natural distrust of, I believe that's of the enemy.
Yeah, it is.
We're supposed to walk in love, so naturally.
You got to stop that. You stop. That's wishful thinking. Now, if everybody's not walking in love.
Right.
So wait. So now you can still walk in love,
Yeah.
but you might have to go on the other side of the street with it.
Come on now.
I'll wait for all amens. I'll wait for all amens.
Wow.
So, look, I still care. I can care for you, but I had to go on the other side of the street because you ain't done clowning yet.
Yeah.
Somebody, huh?
Yeah.
So right. So what I want you to know is that these 7 psychological strengths are already active in your life right now.
Wow.
But you might not have been able to identify what was taking place, and then your inability to identify it will cause you to underbelieve what you're able to achieve. Does that make sense?
That's good.
Without a doubt.
You got it.
Self-doubt.
Took the words off. Oh, yeah, a little faith.
And so I just wanted to, just from the strength of the white coming on this, I just wanted to share that, because what we taught in prison, there's only 4 kinds of people in this world. Now, I've been lucky enough to travel the world.
Amen.
Nobody has been able to refute this.
Wow.
And I've been in China and, in Dubai, and, in Africa. Look at this. There's only atoms.
And divide.
If you could get that really in your mind, the first thing that will come to you is, which one of these am I? And you will say ignorantly, unknowingly, I'm all for them, Pop. I will say back to you with some measure of affirmative direction that no, you're not.
Wow.
You are rooted in one.
That's right.
And the one that you are rooting in is the dominant force in your life. If you're rooted in subtraction, you subtract all the time. And matter of fact, you're so comfortable with it, you don't even know you're subtracting.
Taking away.
Somebody had to tell you to stop that whining. If you're watching me on TV, stop that whining. Somebody say, stop that whining.
Stop that whining.
Pop guy on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
man, we're gonna become a powerful force out here.
Amen. Praise God.
And just on the strength of that, I just want to give the lifer guys the floor for a minute. And then we're gonna finish that up, and then we're gonna close with Jim. But Isaac, what you want to say though to the group and to the
I'm mainly speaking to the white man. The whole time you've been down, it's been about choices, man. Wow. You don't never stop. Power coming out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if the light, no, never go back. I was just up there. I went to Oak Park and Stillwater
Yeah, I remember.
day before yesterday. You go up there and talk to the warden about it. Seeing about putting some films together for the brothers that's inside, since they can't have a contact. That's in the making. And with that, gave another idea. Yeah, I feel it's my calling. I'm gonna do it. Which I was working at Anderson Windows. I've been out there 2 weeks now, but I'm not concerned with that because I'm not homeless, I'm not hungry. I'm not busting nobody upside the head, trying to get no money. Yeah, I owe and I'm in debt, but that will soon pass because things will come out of this. It's all gonna be good. So I'm not stressing and worrying about it. Glad thankful to God I got the woman I got. And that's another thing. Take your time. We're gonna talk, but
You know, we is.
take your time, man. Find you to make, man.
Give him some love. You know, Isaac didn't take his time, but that he could give you that advice shows me that he has grown, and I appreciate that because you're telling him right. Somebody go ahead, Rob. What you got?
I would just tell you that, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, you can have a treat. It's,
I would just tell you to, like he's saying, you need to go slow. They tell you to go slow and you want to go 1,000 miles an hour. You're trying to make up all that time up in 5 minutes and it ain't gonna work. But if you go slow, then you're gonna make it, the object ain't to get out of prison, your object is to stay out of prison.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
give some love on that. Give some love on that.
You can do that. Beautiful. You just gotta work, brother. That's all. The work is just starting now. You got here. Now the work starts.
Wow.
This is where it starts.
Wow. Ross been rolling, man. He's a big time construction worker. Got his driver's license rolling. You know what I'm saying? He's beautiful thing. And Gaddafi walked in all late. Give him some love. Yeah. It's good to see you, man. You good?
Yeah.
I'm coming back to you. Will, what you got?
I'm just
Laz, you gotta come together for me.
I'm just happy to see him on here. You know, we did so much time together and just you know, some good times, some struggles, man. You know, we just been through it, you know, and you know, man, when we was inside, you know, we were at our best, but we were operating under a imposed structure.
yes.
You know, and you know, now that you're out here, you have to remember to impose that structure on yourself. You know, I made some missteps. You know, but the thing is that because of my, you know, I've always been striving that even when I, you know, stumble, I stumble going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
And so, you know, don't get too high with the highs and you make some missteps. Don't get too low, you know, don't ball up in a corner. Sometimes we can, you know, inadvertently, you know, if we ain't careful, kind of, you know, send that energy out there. But, you know, you have to be patient with yourself because we've been down a long time behind that wall. You know what I'm saying? And it's some things you're going to have to figure out for yourself, right? And some of that is experimentation. And that's where the missteps come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a natural though, but
That's
it's
good,
part of learning and growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when they happen, you can't get too down on yourself. You just learn from it and you keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Donald is here. Donald, come on and chime in, and then Barbara out there, we just giving them some feedback, from the lifer's perspective.
Well, the White, it's good to see you out here. Yeah. That doesn't mind. I know that's right. Larry Flournoy out, right? We had cancer.
Yeah.
Terminal.
Yeah.
So he only lived like 90 days, right? And he passed away. But I went to see him at his house every day before he passed away, as much as I could. I brought him food and just sit there with him. Some days he was on the respirator and couldn't talk. He was kind of tired, sleeping, And I used to say to him when he could talk, when he was clear. I say, hey man, God bless you, get out here. There's a lot of people that we know that would love to be in our position right now. I know you're thinking in your mind that you only got so much time left, but I want you to know that their plan, their destruction for you didn't happen the way they wanted to plan it for you. They planned your destruction just like they planned mine, but it didn't happen. Right?
You're right.
And you were there, you saw it.
Yeah.
Right? I had 2 violations, man.
You
were there, you saw it.
we both went to catch, right? We got an extra time.
That's right.
And it was honored
That's
when
right.
they gave it to
That's
us.
right. Let me take this here too, man. This is just not for you, but just for the whole room. In the Bible, when James started talking to the rest of the Christians, because they were being told to lie and they were being thrown in prison, to be beheaded, they were doing all these things to them, right? And he said to the church, count all these things as joy, right? Because you have to go through something to be strengthened, to be strong. Right now, you stay in this room with us, I guarantee you, you won't see that cell again.
Wow.
I guarantee you that.
Man,
Yeah,
that's powerful. So something done hit me now. So Will had 24, you had 31.
Yeah.
Or 38.
36.
That was 37. It was 32 years.
No, he wasn't a number. It
He
was
wasn't
him
a
and him.
No,
he just put it in.
Like for 2.
Time. Oh, he just come in.
How many years he did?
32? 32. And Donald, yours was
36.
So while we doing that, Barbara's turn. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, my name is Bala Kadaka. Everybody knows me as Anthony Fletcher. That's my given name for my parents. See brother. Picture last night. 5'5" was on the move. I was like, oh, he was moving around. So it done my heart good. I was like, oh man, I was so excited. And, man, I was like, I said, man, these brothers out, I'm so excited, because I know what that brings, enthusiasm of what we dreamt about, what we talked about, and everything else for how it should be, and things that we want to make changes in, and everything else. So I'm like, man. So, but I'm not gonna really touch on things really myself, because we was prepared inside. So we was already prepared for a lot of the things. It just live your life, enjoy yourself, smell good, look good. Enjoy your life.
That's right.
Because there's no guarantee that we're gonna be here tomorrow.
Wow.
That's good. So live it the best way, because we've been already taught, even by the ancestors. Well, we already prepared. So when we got there, we was able to be in a womb again. Oh, to be able to come back out. Say, man, I'm a baby again. I need to take baby steps. I need to listen. I need to do this. I got some ideas.
Right.
Let me run it to about 4, 5, 8, 10 people.
Mhm.
You know, so just, enjoy that. Enjoy your life. And smile and enjoy walking down the street.
And I know your kids gonna love it. I know they're gonna love it. You gonna love that too.
And I miss you, man. And
Oh, my
it's been a long time since we've been together personally together. So,
Yeah.
and just be in contact.
Yeah.
It's it's new because we've been sober. We've been thinking straight. We ain't had no altering things in our minds.
Amen.
So we're back to what our parents taught us what we should be doing. Our grandparents taught us what we should be doing. And the neighbor down the street of what we should be doing.
Okay.
And everything else. So we back at that stage, at our older age. So now it's time for us to pass the torch, live our life.
It's 198 years of just the lifers that are in the room. Now, all y'all, everybody else, that's not that you don't count. I'm just trying to only say, we don't have one more year, one day more. It's too much. You understand? Are you listening to that? What's the clowning about when you understand, what the possibilities are? Now, having heard that, I just need to give the floor to Dwight and then let him just kind of take it however you want to take it.
But man, one of the things. It was overwhelming, man, to it really is to
All right.
Wow.
All right.
All right. Wow.
it's weird because it's the first time I lost words.
The spotlight ain't for everybody.
As I was sitting around here seeing people I hadn't seen for years and some for 4 or 5 years and then some for decades. And lay eyes on them and to see that they're doing good and alive. And the ones who passed away that I never got a chance to see again. Even the brothers, I was looking at this painting on the wall, thinking about that brother who, who got committed.
Right.
But he's doing well, isn't he? Got committed. And it's a form of death in a sense to me. And I felt that it took me with him in there. Along with a lot of guys like that. And to hear.
Just so you know, man, we pulled together, we fought for him.
I know you did. I seen it in the paper.
But we pulled together a $500 package, send it off to him so he could get his art supplies. And that's how he copes.
That was one of the things as I'm looking around the room, and then I'm looking around people who has been my friend even in crime.
Wow. Yes, sir.
It was my friend when we changed our faith. The man went to Gaddafi, man, he know. Man came to me, man, and gave me my clean shahada to be a Muslim. Woo! Me and him trapped this world together. You know I love him. He already knows. And doggone special to me.
I'm going.
Amos and, man, this brother here, man, has been a blessing to me, man, from day one with us. His mind, his humility, his drive, his resilience that we talk about. No, I'm not gonna sit up and take it like this. No, I'm gonna be up and take this with dignity. And the thing is, when the commissioner got on the board, Fabian, and said, look, life meant life. I thought that was the end. I said, well, life meant life.
Right.
And I had to ask myself a series of questions. How was I gonna die in this place? How I was gonna die? What that's gonna look like? I remember one time Reverend Al Sharpton got on TV and he said, the hardest thing it is for a preacher to do a eulogy over a dead person's body is to say something good about something that's been rotten all his life. What can you say? Oh, we got a nice suit here. Got nothing good to say.
Right.
For most of us, all of us, Green, all of us, we didn't want that. We wanted to die. If we had to die, and we wanted to die with dignity. We wanted to die making a change, not only for ourselves, but where we was at. We changed that system.
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We changed that system to where the man came and asked me, what do you want? I was able to stand up like a man and look at him and feel like I belong in the room and say, well, I want to go home. Done my time and I want to go home.
Let me tell you a secret about Joan Fabian. Now this, you gotta look. So, you know, she worked for Tim Plawente. Tim Plawente let nobody go. He served 3 terms. He let nobody go. No sex offenders, no lifers, nobody left under the sky. And Joan Fabian was his commissioner. Now, so it wasn't her. So she had to say what he said say. But then behind closed doors, she was getting all kinds of things popping on the other side, keeping it away from the governor. So she was working on the other side, keeping programs going. Because you remember, they shut it all down. Joan Fabian was secretly a double agent. Now, I just want you to know that. And so Joan Fabian set up what Tom Roy later came by and actually did, which was to cut lifers loose. All of y'all, Will got under the second administration, but y'all all who come out here came out under Snell and Tom Roy. Tom Roy let 12 lifers go that we got. Right? And so it was maybe 20 altogether. So just think about what that means. And they started letting some people go from SOTP, some, maybe 8, 12 people. Right. So I just want to tell you that. But to have you home, sitting in our midst, is a well-calculated plan and dream come true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I just want to just say one
Let's
thing.
stand up and get that boy some love. Say
my heart smile right now, man. My heart is smiling. Feel good, brothers. And thank you. And I'm gonna be counting on you, needing your support.
Yeah, you got it. So look, real quickly, reach in your pocket. 1 second. Reach in your pocket and pull out some money. Give me that cup right there. Pull some money out. We're gonna fill this cup up with money for that brother. Just reach in there quickly, put some money. I don't care what it is, if you got change, put it in there. Put some money in there so he understands. Yep. Some of y'all that got big money, put it in there.
I saw the big money.
Big money.
You got 2 wallets.
I can't give any more.
So that boy put all his money in there. God bless him. Gift card, has got a gift card, everything. Come on, somebody, you putting it in or you holding it? What you doing? Okay.
You gotta come over here.
Okay, come on, send the cup down. would you?
I'm his brother and his ride.
So Uber getting some money too, everybody getting some tonight.
Put it in there like it's wow.
Yeah. Come on with it. One second. I want, before you go anywhere, I gotta know what you got out of it.
I had because I love it.
Corey, what did you get out of tonight's group? Corey gotta leave. Say it quick.
And you got a gift card.
Excuse me, I need your attention. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, well, what I got out of the group tonight was wonderful seeing you, Dwight.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm so happy to see you. Blessings. God made it tonight to see this homecoming for you.
For Dwight.
Definitely want to exchange contact.
That's for Dwight.
But I think the best thing I got out of tonight is choices. The choices that I make.
Gift card. Red Lobster.
Give him a hand for that.
Yes.
He's struggling. I'm just putting it out there. Corey is still struggling not to decide whether he want to be free or not. I don't understand why that's such a hard fight. Right, but the devil is a lie. That's all I got to say. Give him a big hand. And so, yeah, have a seat. Have a seat. We ain't done yet. That cake right there, slide it down to the white. Okay, so that cake is for you. You got to cut that cake in a whole bunch of pieces. Open it up.
All right.
Cake and ice cream is here. We all gonna have some.
Yeah, welcome home, Dwight on. Okay, I see it.
We'll take a picture of him doing that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we gotta get this back to the guys, man. They gonna love this.
Let me get a picture of that, man.
The wife is gonna love this part.
Let me get a picture of that before you chop it up there.
Yeah.
Don't let us slide down.
Hold on. Let me get you in the picture. Oh, there we go. That's
Yeah.
the money shot.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, let's get this down the middle first.
Yeah.
Put that bad boy down the middle.
Somebody, so look, we ain't having no meeting in the hallway. Y'all coming in? What you doing? All right, come on in, sit down. Somebody left their chair, so come on. All right, so then we got the plates. Y'all you can help, Will, if you don't mind pulling the plates out of there, right there, and then here go the ice cream. Oh, that boy's going down. Look at him. Look at it.
Is he all right?
Oh, Fraser.
You okay?
Down the Fraser. Fraser can't get a break. He can't get no break, man. Fraser was a bad man. Hey, anybody in the hall, would you have some please? Okay, so here we go. All right, so
Oh, yeah, it's enough for everybody.
now this is what I need y'all to do. Jim has got a little presentation. I really want us to give him our attention. Because as you know, Jim, who is a part of us, be a part of him, he was struggling with his health. And we all struggling with something. Will had a broken ankle. Wayne, I had to take him to the hospital today earlier. We all got something going on. You get it? And so if you got any kind of tips while we have an ice cream and cake, then it's a good time for you to go ahead and make a presentation. And I would really appreciate it if y'all would come in and give him your attention. I would really appreciate that. I know you're busy, got things to do and everything, but if you can come and do that, I would really appreciate it.
Well, with Brother Shane's kind heart and permission, he granted me a small envelope of time to let you know about what I would consider to be scientifically deadly affliction that any of us could have, and I do have. I've been living with it for 8 years, and I had a kind blessing that it got caught just as it was just really fixing to really try to take me out. not way after it's been taking me out, but just as it was trying to, it bolstered enough strength to have me, you know, on the cot, so to speak. And a physician that had been watching me noticed some things that was indicative of this affliction being multiple myeloma, bone marrow cancer being present. And the reason why I want to come here, this is usually one of the first stops that I make with anything good I have. And keeping on that note, I know about the values that the pop guys have and why they have them, and that they cherish those values and long to bolster the outcomes of having those values.
Right.
So I wanted to lay this on you, just some of the topics. Anybody that wants to know more, at the beginning of the presentation, there's a website address. If you just leave a phone number with me, I'll shoot it over to you or whatever. But I had Wayne was supposed to have. See, would you see if he printed out the hard copy? There's a presentation hard copy that has 12 major topics. And by the way of us lily padding over those 12 major topics, and you just getting a glimpse of all the scientology and scientific everything that's in between those 12 major topics, it should be enough to really rattle you, to want to know more about this whole scenario, because it's a scientifically sneaky killer.
Wow.
And yeah, this is all for me. And by the way, one of the bigger points about it is that Black Americans are at twice the risk for this cancer than Caucasians. I Googled to see why that is today, and it's inconclusive. It could be access to resources like what usually is sometimes. Right. It could be ethnicity. It could be genetics. Those are all things that are in the study, because the biggest thing they got to look at is the outcomes of who's getting afflicted. Right. So it's inconclusive right now as to why that is, but that's the truth of the matter. Sure. We are the ones that get in this thing's sights most often. And it tries to scientifically and very sneakily kill you. Wow. Take this lovely life right away. Come on, Doc. And I'm gonna put this projector on. Hopefully it'll still power up in that. Wayne set me up again. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. And I got everything like really at access. And we aren't going to spend a lot of time on what you glimpse at, but what you really look at. Oh, I could use those lights staying on, really. Okay. Oh, I thought you was going to go to the screen. Yeah. It still should show up when I bring it up.
James, you might want to move the laptop over. So
okay. Oh, it's being blocked. I'm blocking it. So we got a little traffic jam down here. Okay. So just watch the topics that I lily pad over, and as I scroll, watch all the scientific components that are involved, and my bet is that you'd be rallying to learn more about this deadly affliction, because it almost took me out too.
Purple haze.
Yeah, that's the dude.
No.
Lads, did you want some extra?
Myeloma.
Myeloma.
Yeah.
Doug, did you want some?
Thank you.
Here it is. So I brought this hard copy because you can put a hard copy in your hand, but to use the web, the same information is available at this website that you see right here. And if you read down here, one of their goals is to do this. Because again, the diaspora of us even being here now kind of like always decreases us having that, which should be a usual thing. So they wanted to bring it to us. And I've got my outline here. And that's what we're going to use.
Okay.
And we're going to start right here about what it really is. A disease that involves multiple sites at the time of diagnosis that most commonly form. Or it could be like a tumor, an accumulation of this in part of the body. And then when it's usually found, these are the two ways that it's found. In what they call a smoldering state. That's where I got caught. Right where it's ready to try to rock your world and take you out. Or it can already have generated symptoms that you see here. Anemia, kidney damage, and bone disease. Hey, don't that sound like a tired person? I don't have energy. What's going on with my body's filtration system? My skeleton's getting weak. So those are some of the major things right there. And then it follows up. Again, at that website, the same information is out here. So anybody that wants this, just make a phone number or write it down.
How did you get it? How did you get it? I mean,
How did I get
How
it?
did they discover you?
Check this out. If you check out my skin, I got pretty fair amount of pock marks in my face. And I was going to a dermatologist who was giving me some antibiotics for my acne. And every time I went in, he didn't make me get a blood lab because the physicians aren't supposed to give you antibiotics unless your blood is intact. And he noticed that my red blood cell counts were steadily going lower and lower and lower. And that was the demon working its science on me, taking my iron and my hematology functionality away, trying to lay me out, get me ready for what it wants to do with me. Wow. So it talks about what it is, multiple sites at time of diagnosis. And here's where it can be an actual tumor already by the time they find it. Or they can find it while it's ready to try to do this. And here are those major symptoms that I mentioned. Anemia, for anybody that doesn't have it, makes it so you can't stay warm. Kidney damage will make it so your body's filtration system doesn't work right. And bone disease makes it so your skeleton don't work right. You get all three of them, guess what? You're laying down.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've got this 12-point page guide that talks about, and in between, it talks about a lot. So I advise that everybody just leave some contact information so you can really peruse the whole site and get the details. But I only got time to flesh out an outline of what I want and I feel that you need to know right now.
Sure.
Do they have a way you can just go get tests?
It takes more than one test. And I'd like to take the questions at the end of this, or I'd never get through.
That's a good question, though. We'll come to it.
Yeah. So here, there are some signs and symptoms of what stage you might be in. And it take a physician, a medical doctor to really, or an oncologist or a hematologist to really drill down on this for about a month and a half, 2 months to really determine that tag you're it. Yeah, it messes with your calcium levels, your kidneys again, there's anemia, and there's bone abnormalities. I'm going to bounce over to that signs and symptoms, diagnosis, which is on page 3 here. An accurate diagnosis is one of the most important aspects of a person's medical care. Obtaining a precise diagnosis will help the doctor to estimate how the disease will progress, determine the appropriate treatment. So following a diagnosis, they come up, now you see all this stuff that I'm scrolling over. This is part of the science here, that when this first hit me, man, I spent nights on Google just translating terminology,
Figure it out.
trying to figure out what are these doctors talking about.
Wow.
And every time I dealt with one of them, I told them, break it down in layman's terms, because there's so much scientific stuff here. So I'm gonna jump over to
That's good, Jim. That's good that you did
a
that.
person. Now you see all this that I'm scrolling through here. One of the most drastic things that can happen. Now you see blood and urine tests. I get blood labs every month, and I get an infusion of a medication every month. And I take oral chemotherapy 21 days out of the month. Two different medications. But now they say, diagnostic tests. They don't really say in here, I'd have to find it in the text. But one of the things they do to you, and you can Google this and get something to grab, they're gonna want to do a bone marrow biopsy, which is on your pelvis or your body, these two bones that do like this, they call them the iliac crest. What they do is drill through from the outside into your iliac crest and then insert a huge hypodermic needle. The hypodermic is about that wide and they pull out about that much marrow for diagnostics.
Out of your belt.
And they've done this?
Out of your, I've had 4 of them. Yeah, and almost passed out every time. Yeah. That's one of the strict diagnostic tests. I'm gonna go forward. I got the
And so
pages
that test is to determine what?
to determine this thing starts in your bone marrow. It disables your bone marrow from making healthy red and white blood cells, which everybody's body depends on to operate.
And do you know what, Jim? I didn't really realize until just this second that the blood gives clues to all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how that
Because
dermatologist.
the blood cells that were low
Mhm.
that made them look further into your situation.
And this mutation had already occurred to where my bone marrow.
He wasn't even at the doctor.
Yeah.
He was at the dermatologist.
The skin doctor.
Yeah.
The skin doctor. That whoever that was, that boy saved your life.
I know.
Who was
I
he?
told him so. He was a Korean guy, MD dermatologist that was working for Fairview at the time.
Well, bless him.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So I got some page numbers here. I'm gonna jump. So say that you got a diagnosis. Now you see all this that I'm jumping over. This is the nuts and bolts of how either to curtail it or how it's going to try to kill you. So I'm going to go forward to page 10 here to what the treatment actually is. Because it turns to be such a vast topic. Treatment. Important that your doctor is experienced in treating patients with myeloma or works in consulting with a myeloma specialist. This type of specialist is usually called a hematologist or oncologist that I just mentioned. And now, see the red there? Those are just subtopics of the treatments that can happen, and they're all scientific. Out of the regular layman's daily scope altogether. That's why I'm not trying to drill down on it, but I can make it so you can. Yeah, I can make it so you interested in one of these topics because it might be relevant to you. The website at the page 1 has all of that information. But I just wanted to pull the lid off of this killer.
Right.
You can't let a killer hide forever.
Ooh, that's good, Jim. Man, get that boy some dab. That's good. Well, he got the floor.
So now, there's chemotherapy and drug therapy. Somebody had a statement on Christian.
Yeah, that I wanted to share is what the cancer that I had is similar to what you're talking about now.
Okay, let's just hold that to the end of the presentation.
But how did they determine? How did you find it?
I actually had a cyst in my mouth.
At the beginning of the presentation, it talked about cystic tumors that can be, indicative of something really abnormal is going on here.
That's good. Good.
Yeah. So one of the big treatments, the two big treatments are chemotherapy and drug therapy. Now watch as I scroll how vast that can be. So I'm gonna jump now. This is something that I had. I had a stem cell transplant and high dose chemotherapy to go with it. The science of that is they'll take you and put, you seen the boy in the bubble thing? They boy in the bubble me, killed my immune system.
Wow.
And with high dose chemotherapy, then let it regrow again. In the interim, before they regrew it, they had already extracted help. They gave me as much chemotherapy as my body could stand, extracted my red and white blood cells that still stood up behind that and the stem cells involved with that, like with a dialysis machine, and stored that in cryogenics, frozen. And then they killed with more chemotherapy, they killed my immune system and then put me in a room and plugged the cryogenic frozen stem cells back in, and it regrew my immune system altogether.
And how much time did that take?
Close to from June through, it took a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was like the dude in the bubble, no visitors, nothing, sterile room at the U of M. And as soon as it got up to snuff, they start giving me more chemotherapy to keep it from being mutated or fragmented or incorrectly.
Right.
So they gave me a new immune system and fought off the myeloma.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in serious trouble. I'm gonna jump forward to page 14. That was the stem cell thing there. And it's got a whole bunch of topics about that, you know. Then they had radiation therapy. I never did experience any radiation. This is usually for folks who are more afflicted when caught than me, because they want to fight it as many different ways. Then the next page talks about supportive care and disease complications. Supportive care for myeloma helps manage the complications of the disease and the adverse side effects of the drugs used for the treatment. That's been one of my big issues. Okay, the drugs are going to keep me well, but each of them has a side effect that's trying to cause another problem.
Wow.
I first met Brother Shane, my face was not like this, chubby like this. I had regular dude's face, you know. I wasn't chubby like this.
Oh, give him some love, though.
That's one of the side effects.
But I appreciate Jim's courage right there. And what he was saying is important, and sharing that with us, because you're right. And his vitality was different when we first got him. And we met in prison, you know what I mean? Wow. But he's still, look what he's doing, is still trying to give us tools to fight our way through all the vicissitudes of life. And this is one of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a deadly disease. So now it talks about, you know, if you are in a supportive care environment and what those complications could be, you know. And here's a regular laundry list. I mentioned the kidney stuff. I mentioned the bone stuff before, and the fatigue. Now it's got other stuff in here that all is a study in itself. And one of them is you're more vulnerable for other cancers even. And then it gives, the website gives like the same information. So you get a chance to spill over then versus just browsing past the happy topics or unhappy topics like I'm doing now. But I'm gonna jump forward to another subtitle here that we'll be at. And it is called Clinical Trials. At the U is a research university, and Fairview is a research medical organization. And they're partnered in an organization called mHealth, where a lot of clinical trials that end up going national and international might start at Mayo. Mayo's a part of in it too. Mayo and mHealth. And so They might do some placebos where they're really not doing anything to you, or they might put you in something that is leading to a clinical trial. A clinical trial ends up being a possibility for to fight this thing back really firmly, or either just get rid of it altogether. I haven't had time for clinical trials, honestly.
Right.
But then one of the things that has gotten me, and I mentioned it earlier, now you see all this, I'm scrolling over, this is all about clinical trials.
Right.
There's one that's similar to a stem cell transplant that's prevalent now called CAR T. CAR T, what they do is they take your blood and they extract your red and your white blood cells in the whole like a dialysis process, and they've got some chemically bolstering things that they treat those white blood cells with, freeze them like what they did to me, and then what they did to my when I got the stem cell, and then they give it back. And those cells are about 4 times, those white blood cells are about 4 times as strong as regular white blood cells. So you're gonna get at least all of it is dangerous.
I mean, with putting that amount of blood cells back up.
No, what it does is got 4 times as much strength as
To fight off the
infection fighting blood cells. So none of these treatments that they're talking about here are usually good for over 3 years. So I've been on like 3 programs already. I'm in my 8th year of remission.
Wow. Come on.
Yeah. But then, like, watch this. Side effects. Look at that laundry list.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of coming to
And which one of those have been your experience?
Now when I fly, every return trip, I get a sinus infection. I got some tricks to keep me out of anemia that are dietary. I have some other dietary things that I use that bolster my white blood cell count. This low platelet count. I'm usually 2 points on there or something like that. I don't ache. I got anxiety though. I get so much happening that with 2/3 of the energy that I had before this ever happened, I have a hard time trying to know what's next, or to pick what my next priority. So I really fine tooth comb that.
Wow.
Because I only got 2/3 the energy every day of what I used to have. I could get so tired instantly that I just like kick back wherever I am. If I'm at home and go to sleep, man, because I'm gone.
Wow.
That's anxiety. I go until I can't go anymore.
Wow.
I don't get this numbness or achy stuff and that, or I do some dietary things to dial it back. But the low red and the low whites, those are going to happen. So you have to do dietary things to bring that back, because the medications that they got will make you feel like and make you feel like you got the flu.
Really?
Yeah.
So Jim, take me on home now, kind of.
Okay, we're going. That was like side effects, and we got 2 more little. There's another one here that's on the web, all the treatment outcomes. So there is no cookie cutter model of this. It attacks everybody differently. So get this link for me, read down on that. We got one more topic here. It's 26. It's called refractory and relapse. Refractory is where what you were doing, like I said, none of the programs really last any more than three years. Refractory is where that current program, it don't do what it's supposed to do anymore.
Right.
Relapse is, of course, the gangster's back, he's loose, he can get you.
Right.
Yeah, scientifically, out of some of this mesh.
Right.
And those are the topics that I had to cover to let you know that they're you could just
so go back to refractory.
Uh-huh.
I just watch this. As I was reading it, scroll up a little bit more. Refractory. Where's that at? The refractory. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Almost all myeloma patients will experience relapse. The cancer will return successful course, after a successful course of treatment, and or the disease will become refractory, meaning means go back.
Yeah.
The cancer does not respond to treatment. The choice of treatment regimen at relapse is affected by many factors, including previous therapy, rate of relapse, patient health, and genetic abnormalities. Now, as I was reading that, I was thinking really about addiction. You get it?
Wow.
And it almost fits, verbatim,
Yeah.
an addiction. And it says in some instances, the drug or a combination of drugs that the patient had a good response to initially may be repeated. Another option is to try one or more of the other therapies typically used in initial treatment. And again, this is where, some of y'all in here who have been through treatment 7, 8 times, they done tried this and now they're trying, cognitive behavioral therapy and now they're trying, these other things. It's the same thing. They're fighting a disorder or a dis-ease. In some instances, if the patient had a good response to a drug or a combination of drugs initially, that treatment option may be repeated. Trying one or more of the other therapies that are typically used in the initial treatment is another option. So here what they're doing, look, they're mixing a cocktail. Huh? Think about, with someone of them good shakers, how to mix up the cocktail. But what they're trying to do is say, how can we come up with the one?
Because it ain't just one.
Right, because it's the one for you, it might not be yours.
For me, yeah.
But now I got another piece for it. What Tierra and I have been working on with our partnership with the University of Minnesota is, and one thing that we haven't flushed out. Let me just tell you why I'm saying this. I wish everybody was yet in the room. Because as you know, once COVID came, it changed the dynamics of life. Period.
Everywhere. Wow. Everywhere, all around the world.
And we got in early, we pop guys, and said, we getting vaccinated, right? And we had some of y'all in here, was struggling and not ready and needed more information. And we tried to work through all of that. But we ultimately got to 98% vaccinated. Here's what we've learned. Tierra and I, as we processing this, Jim, back to your piece of why does it impact certain ethnic groups and listen, economic groups beyond ethnicity, the economics, the haves and the have-nots. So what that is the haves, they have healthcare or a primary doctor that you have a relationship with, who knows your body and starts to learn you learn him or her, but they're looking at your body. When you have that, then it creates a healthier direction for you than individuals who don't go to the doctor or only go to the emergency room. And those emergency room visits, they're just trying to, get you back on your feet, if that's possible, and out the door. But so what we have never asked in here, and we'll go back and do this another time, is which one of us in here does not have a personal relationship with a doctor? I want you to raise your hand if you don't. Be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's already high number. If the room was packed, that just was a time ago, we might be up to 10. Well, if that was say 10% of 30, right, or 35, that's a big chunk. And so what we're talking about, Tierra and I, since this disease stuff has opened us up, a virus, I should say, why not try to continue the healthcare piece as a part of what we do at POP? And so in that, the University of Minnesota has said, well, okay, this is what they said to us, we'll fund the position. I don't hear nobody.
Amen.
So they said, well, we'll fund the position, but the person got to be housed at your location, which we want. And then what we're trying to do is have that person have nursing skills so that they can inject. Why do I say that? Because who in here got the booster so far? Here's two people. You got a booster already?
Yeah.
That's 3 people that got the booster. But so you know the rest of us done got our shot. But now the booster time is coming, right? And so we might go back and say, well, all right, we're just gonna boost ourselves and our families so that we know we good. Now your kids can get so we might have a nurse practitioner and or someone else who practices in psychological medicine. Because one of the reasons why we lose people is because of psychological issues. I'm dovetailing off of James' presentation. It's clinical and medical. So, you know, we had for a period of maybe 2-3 weeks, we had Jeffrey Murray over at the Pop House. Jeffrey Murray was over at the Pop House. He was coming out of prison. He was homeless. He was a pop guy. I knew we were gonna have trouble with him. You know, I knew Jeff. You know, I've been down with him. I know his problems, but see, I can't treat you like they do, because otherwise, then I'm no different.
Okay.
So let me tell you this way. I had to sometimes put us through something that I know is going to be difficult.
Wow.
In order to say truthfully, we gave that boy a chance. We are the help that we have been waiting for.
And ain't nobody else.
Nobody else is coming. Watch this. Jeffrey, you know, he was in the house for 3 weeks. He's getting high.
Wow.
He's clowning. He brought a chick up there. I had to throw him out, right? So I throw Jeffrey out. Jeffrey came back later and stole the TV from the car.
Sick, he was real sick.
Look what I'm saying. Wow. Do you know, I can't tell you how many TVs I own. It could be 25. I don't know. You know, TV don't mean nothing. Look. It took him 3 months after leaving the Pop House. Shoot and kill somebody right down the street. Looking at 40 years. Somebody said 40.
40.
He's looking at 40 years, and they got an eyewitness. He's gone.
Yeah.
Now, my point there is that as long as he would be here, this would manage him. It manages some of us.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there's another level. That psychological piece is another level for some of us. Doug has been so adamant about sharing how his psychologist, who he has brought to the group, has helped him. I'm telling you this because we're trying to get that position to include the psych piece, so that would be right here, so that we can mess around and say, wait a minute, wait, right? And trying to learn to grow from our mistakes. Now, Tierra said to me, Pop, we did everything we could do. I agree with that. But if I don't learn from what happens, this is what Jim's dermatologist learned from a blood sample, that he was struggling with something else. That sent him all the way back. Give Jill a big hand for that presentation.
That dermatologist, his name, he was Korean, I believe. His name was Dang Tran.
Wow.
And he was right at the Brooklyn Park Fairview before they merged fully with the U. But Dang Tran.
Dang Tran's a bad man. I'm gonna tell you why he
no
is.
doubt.
Because if Dang Tran wasn't on his job. So, and Jim, just thank you for being courageous enough to bring that information. Does anybody got a question or comment for Jim?
Yeah, I got one, Jim, because recently when I went down south, I found myself getting weak. And I was trying to figure out what was going on with my body. And it could have been some other stuff going on. Then I found out in my body I had psoriasis. Now that's another skin disease, which is inside my bone.
Right.
We can never cure it, but we can calm it down.
Man, let me tell you something, administering what you're saying right now. You know what happened to me? I had psoriasis 2 years ago, before I ever had acne. And some side effects from another medication. I ain't got no psoriasis now. This thing is like, once you on the merry-go-round, it's a hell of a ride.
And that's why I wanted to ask you that, because I'm noticing now with myself,
you're not doing anything for it, but it's
they changed. I was taking an 80 milligram tote, shooting in my body every month. Then they said, well, okay, since we've done that for you for a year, we're gonna take you and put you on the Humira. Well, the Humira pushed the stuff out of me. This is just like recently, like a couple of months, and my hands broke out, my feet broke out, and I got a little bit of reaction. So I told him, I said, well, I don't want that medicine.
Right, that's right.
I mean, I don't want that medicine because it didn't do what the toke was doing. Why put me on something else that ain't broke?
Yeah.
Because the toke, I had it for a whole year, shoot myself. And then when you said something about you was getting weak, it summed me back to thinking, wait a minute.
I didn't, because it was killing my red blood cells at far more, the mutated myeloma cells will kill your good cells. And so red blood cells carry iron. Iron provides energy to your body. So every day I come home from work, man, I was exhausted.
Wow.
And that was at the same time when I was seeing Dr. Train.
Was your body, like your legs and stuff, get weak or something?
No, man, I was just exhausted.
Let me grab
Zoomed in on my red blood
Here
cells.
is Calvin, as everybody in here knows, live in Mississippi. Now, we got Cal staying over at the Pop House. I just want everybody to know that for a little while. The reason why he's up here, part of the reason, is to have these medical appointments because he believed the health care is better here in Minneapolis than it is in Mississippi. And so, I'm gonna tell you all this one more thing. I've been studying something from a neuroscientist called optimistic bias.
Optimistic bias.
Optimistic bias is when you can look at the world crumbling around you, have all the facts and information about it, what's taking place, but somehow still believe it's not going to happen to you. I'll wait for all the amens to die down.
Amen. That's so good.
And so the reason why I'm bringing up optimistic bias to you is because you can remember when our families, this is what Baba was saying earlier, remember when your families was telling us what not to do? And we heard them. Except for our optimistic bias said, that's not going to happen to me.
Right.
Then we got the beef, whatever that was. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
And so the theory here is that the people forget things, traumatic things that they should remember. The theory is that the brain is wired more for what's coming than it is for what passed. Wow. And they're re-looking at that in some other ways. But this optimistic bias is fed by positive words. This is how you overcome the bias. Because you can believe, oh, that ain't gonna happen to me. What's the jiggy? Trump ain't coming back. Y'all don't hear me though.
Right. Never know.
Right? So we're dealing with some different things in this world right now. I don't want to go into a third meeting, but I just want us to give Jim some love. We're gonna get out of here. Hold up, Dwight. We're gonna get out of here.
One big hard copy of the whole, what I went through is gonna be left here at the office.
Okay.
So
Anybody want that information, get it from Wayne. Let's pledge out of here. Who stay? I will. Balance my family values. My goals.
With my goals.
I will. Exercise wisdom. When I choose to eat. Read and do. I will. Strive to make all relationships. Win-win. No deal. Just think about what you just said. I will. Under every circumstance. Maintain a positive positive attitude.
Maintain a positive attitude.
I will enjoy my life with a sense of humor. While taking advantage of opportunity. Learning from my misfortune. I will act upon circumstances. Rather than have them act upon me. I will daily basis. Be proactive with my goals. Yes, so those of you brought home a 5-year plan, it's time to put it in action. I will always protect my wisdom. My health. And my happiness. I will stay principle centered. No gain. Maintain a positive circle of influence. I will daily learn. Commit. And do. Because I'm a bad man or woman. I will. According to the POP Leadership Institute. Be a productive member of my community. And in my private life. All right, help somebody help clean up this.
Give me some love.
Yes, sir.